Before you start learning anything, especially a language, you need to have the right attitude. You need to have the right thoughts in your head. Because if you don't have the right attitude, you're probably going to struggle with language learning. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the most important attitudes that you need to be successful in learning a language. Let's get into it. Now the first one is, language learning is not hard. Yes, it's true. You need to put that thought into your mind. Now, we normally think things are difficult if we don't understand them. For example, with language learning, if you don't understand a language, then you're going to think it's hard. Ask any native speaker about their native language. Is it hard for them to speak it? No, because they understand it. They've been doing it correctly for many, many years, if not decades. So, you need to change your mindset from the very start. When you start learning a language, have the mindset that language learning is not hard, it's just that at the moment you don't understand the language. Number 2, learn right from the start. When you start learning a language, learn to speak like a native speaker. Don't learn to speak not like a native speaker, because this is going to make communication very hard for you, and it's going to make listening to your speech very hard for the person you are speaking to. So, to do this, learn the phrases that native speakers, the phrases and words that native speakers do use. Don't learn the phrases and words they do not use. Again, you want to sound like a native speaker, so learn right from the start. Why? Why is this important? Well, like I said before, you want to be easily understood and be able to communicate in that language very easily. If you learn language that native speakers don't use, this will make your speech sound strange and maybe even awkward. Number 3, you must want it, need it, and have a reason. If you don't have a reason for learning, you probably won't be able to come back every day and keep learning. And if you can't come back every day and keep learning, this is a problem, because consistency and repetition is one of the most important things when you're learning any language. You can't just expect to practice a few words and a few sentences once or twice and then expect to be fluent. It doesn't work like that. You need to repeat, repeat, repeat. 4, don't make excuses or complain. Just accept it. Language learning takes time, effort, and consistency. It's not hard, it just takes time. Accept it, this is the way it is, and start learning. If you spend all of your time making excuses or complaining, then this is time that you have wasted, and you could have used that time to learn the language you're learning. Alright, number 5. Don't move on, so don't go to the next step until you are 100% ready. If you move on before you understand something, the next stage will be even more difficult. You need to master the basics first. For example, if you try to speak a language fluently and you can't make the basic sounds of the language, how are you going to communicate like a native speaker? How are you going to speak that language clearly? Well, it will be impossible because you can't pronounce the sounds, and that is one of the most basic things you need to know when you're learning a language. For example, with English, if you try to speak English and you can't pronounce the basic sounds like CH, SH, L, and R, how are native speakers going to understand you? How will they know if you said cheap or sheep? How will they know if you said lock or rock? So don't be quick to go through these stages. Only move on when you're 100% ready. Take your time and eventually you will master the language. So think about these 5 attitudes that I just shared with you, and I think the most important one is that language learning is not hard. You just need to follow a process. So change your mindset and you can do anything. If you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't.